Did Tage Thompson deserve to get second star 2 weeks in a row? Let's fucking talk about that.
Changing here. McDavid, beautiful move. Front back the ball, over to Crosby. He scores! Crosby, 500!
Watch this play between the legs, comes right back to him.
But man, oh man, has his kid got some hands.
The net, it looks like he's going for the old Michigan. He brings it up. Miller goes to knock it up. He shoots it in front.
Oh, it's the left now.
Away, gains the zone around Kubalik. Back to Foligno. He scores!
A lot of mustard on it.
Ovechkin score! The Grade 8 Express pulls into third place all time.
This is the Pucked Up Podcast.
What is up, motherfuckers? Welcome back to the Pucked Up Podcast. As usual, I'm your host, D-Bag, joined by the super beautiful Danger Water and the ever handsome Chris. Every time I do this intro, I'm like, should I say his name, his handle, and then I'm like, no, because that's fucking weird.
Because I don't go by it. I was hoping you would have been like, the always beautiful Danger and Chris. I'd have been like, well, that's fair.
No, I'm nicer than that today. It's the holiday season, y'all.
What you
Can't
guys
be
don't
a Grinch around Christmas.
What you guys don't hear is behind the scenes. She is brutal and very mean to me.
Oh, I totally just typed a message right now in chat that says you're a fucking asshole.
I got another one. You're gonna die, bitch. Okay.
Yep.
Sleep with one eye open. We promise we actually are friends here at LTN Media.
Yeah.
At least one day a year.
At least one day.
For like
it never syncs up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It's an accumulative day. It's just like a couple hours a day.
Right. Yeah.
Every once in a while. Yeah. Anyway, welcome back, y'all. We are here to bring you the news of the NHL this week. There's not like a tremendous amount for us to talk about. Right. Yeah, it was kind of an okay week as far as all things go, hockey-wise. But we did have some interesting stuff, so let's fucking jump into that shit. How about that? Why don't we start with, I think we'll go ahead and start with Chris. You had some info about some trades that went down, literally yesterday, I think it was. There was just a few things.
There was a trade that happened.
There was one, three-way trade, right?
I believe the only one I saw was just the one. It was the Colorado Avalanche traded Dennis Malgin to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Dryden Hunt. Monday this happened.
Okay.
I mean, it's a nice little depth trade. We'll see. We'll see how this helps both sides. I feel like it might just be a new faces and new places type thing that's going to help out.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think we will see where that goes in the future. There
was also a three-way trade. Your team was a part of it, dude. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The Ducks
Detroit
got Michael Del Zotto again.
Yeah. So Detroit acquired Danny O'Regan.
Yes.
From the Ducks.
Yes.
And in exchange, the Ducks got Michael Del Zotto from Florida.
For the fourth time.
And Florida got Giovanni Smith from Detroit. So that to me, how that works out to do a three-way trade is so interesting. Have three GMs be like, are they calling each other up like we did in middle school? And they're like, hey, Sally, I'm going to bring Jessica in. Is that okay? And then they have or it was Jessica sitting in the background being like, you bitch, I never said that. You know what I mean? How does that work? I want to know behind the scenes.
I hope that's how that goes. No, but I laughed that yet again, Michael Del Zotto ends up a Duck in some case. I really think what's happening there is he's probably going to be, obviously in San Diego, they might need some depth in defense down there. They might need him up front. I don't know.
Right.
I think so. It didn't seem like this was anything to do with cap space or anything like that. It literally just seems like they were like, hey, these players are all valued around the same and we need to switch it up. So how about you help a homie out kind of a situation.
Yeah.
Right.
No, because Anaheim has the third most cap space out of any team right now, so they're not worried about it. But yeah, I mean, Delzato's been handy there, so I can understand why they brought it back.
Yeah.
Nothing huge happening right now. We're still not even halfway through the season, but little moves. I do want to show some love to Edmonton Oilers goaltender Stuart Skinner, who, as an Edmonton native, the 24-year-old goalie just got a 3-year deal with the Edmonton Oilers.
Wow.
So
good for him.
Yeah, let me see, where was it? So he signed a 3-year, $7.8 million contract, which you're going to look at 2.6 average per year. Which I believe after this season he would have been a restricted free agent. So I mean, obviously with Campbell, battling injuries at parts of the season so far, Edmonton's going to want a strong
been a rough
backup.
Season for goalies.
Oh yeah,
it really has been.
But you're going to want a strong backup, and Skinner has proved that he's
been doing well.
He's very, very much so helpful in what they need. He is 9-8-1 this season. Obviously, that's not great, but .915 save percentage and 2.83 goals against average. So I mean, those are solid numbers for a backup.
Right, they're not horrible.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I was super happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I did, however, this morning have something come across my desk talking about the NHL signed a multi-year Canadian partnership with Bet99. It is an online casino that, so they can get into sports betting in that sense also.
Yeah, I'm super curious to see what happens with the league with sports betting, because it's really taken over. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I watch mostly my own regional broadcasts, but I do watch other games throughout the league as well when I have time and when it doesn't conflict with the team that I love more than anything. But I've noticed that they've started calling out during games like betting options. You know what I mean? Like, if you do this, it's a payout of this much money or whatever, which I think is super interesting. And I honestly hate it. Like, just full truth. Like, I don't think we should be advertising betting that much, because we're also really targeting a younger demographic right now, who may or may not have like the brain capacity fully developed to know that like gambling is something that can be seriously addictive. There's a reason why there are national gambling crisis hotlines. Because you get in and it gives you that dopamine, it gives you that adrenaline. And when you're winning, it's like, oh, see, so all the times I lost, like this makes up for it. But then you lose big, and so it's really, really tough. So I don't know how I feel about that contract going through. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I'm happy for the NHL that they're finding ways to make money to continue providing me with like one of my favorite forms of entertainment. But at the same time, at what cost? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, and think about what it could do to anybody that's recovering from a gambling addiction too. I mean, I can't even watch hockey anymore without little triggers that are going to be there. And of course, like, it's just one of those things where it's nice when we are in a place to be considerate of those things. But, even more than that, I agree with what you said, Dee, in that with the younger demographic that they're targeting now, I mean, it's just one more thing to try to pull out of major media to try to lessen, or keep younger kids, I guess, from finding out what it is and like want to be interested in it.
Yeah, well, and the hardest part is it's not just the NHL that's dealing with this; it's everyone.
No,
this is it's because it's becoming legal in almost every state now, I believe. Where I think there's like 3 or 4 that it's still not. This is part of sports now. You
and not just sports too. Like everything. There's betting on so much stuff.
Like WWE, all that stuff. There's, and I mean, longer the days where you just have to worry about horse racing. Like you bet on like, NASCAR and bet on like all that stuff. Esports, big time.
Yeah, it's become a big time thing there.
Yeah, I don't know. If I wanted to watch something with all of the betting stats in it, I would go to a place that they'll add that stuff in, or watch it on a channel to where they add it in, or something like that. I don't want to like pay a buku amount of money to, even think about people that have to pay for NHL Network or something.
Yeah.
Even just their cable bill, like that's a fuck ton, a lot of money too. And so, you're already paying for a service, and then you're having something butt into it. And again, I haven't noticed that much because it is illegal here.
Yeah, that's right. Minnesota's still, I think, one of the states that it's still not legal yet.
Unless
nice
something has changed. But yeah, I just think that it would be so hard because it's not something I've ever dealt with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be almost like the video boards are, right? Where like it's just one more distracting thing taking away from the game.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that it's not going anywhere. So like even if we don't like it, but the problem is we're just going to have to learn to accept it at some point, because it's not going to disappear with all the states making this legislative law that it's being okay. Right. It'll be okay. Like it's one of those things where I feel like we're just going to have to kind of pick a hill to die on, and it can't be that one.
Right. No, and that's fine. I mean, it's just, but would I pay for a service or something to have commentators that aren't going to message that stuff? Yeah, probably.
Right.
If I'm not betting on it, then I don't need to know all the little details, you know?
Yeah, that's one of those.
And I also don't care to see it. Like, it doesn't interest me. I think talking about it during the game, like, I love my local broadcast commentators. Like, I think they're amazing. I want to hear their thoughts on the game. I don't want to hear their thoughts on what some outside source has determined will be profitable. You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear them talk about the actual stats of the game. Yeah. How many hits have we had so far?
Yeah, exactly.
Where are we in, like, record book tracking things? You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what I want to hear them talk about more. And because they're now adding sports betting in, it's going to take away from the legit hockey stats.
Right.
Which I think it'll be interesting to see the numbers on this going forward, to see if anyone does get into it more, because there are going to be people who, now that it is an opportunity, that are more into gambling, may get into hockey just to be watching for that kind of stuff. So maybe viewership will increase, but will it decrease because of the people who don't, like, who are either going to be, upset by seeing that kind of stuff because it'll trigger something in their recovery or whatever. I don't know. It's interesting. It's a topic that I think is a little bit more serious than our hatred of the digital ads on the billboards, which are also not going away.
You know
what I mean? Oh no, absolutely. But I like that. If we had to pick between those two hills, between the digital ads, which I fucking hate because they're such a distraction, and sports betting, I would pick sports betting to be to actually try and make a change on.
Yeah. No, it's.
But that's also being somewhat naive, going, here it doesn't exist, so I don't see what it would do if it was taken away,
Yeah.
Which is fair, yeah. And like, it's funny because I honestly haven't noticed anything on any games that I've watched, unless I'm just like not paying attention to it. Yeah. I haven't even really noticed.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that chance that I have, just been oblivious to it too.
Or I don't know, maybe I'm sensitive to it, because I definitely have noticed it, and I'm like, oh, I hate that. I hate that so much.
It's something I'll have to watch, because I definitely have been watching more games on TV. I used to not watch them on TV because I hate that you can't see what you want to see, like the fight going on back here, but they're following.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely watching more, so I'll have to keep an ear out for it and see if I pick up on any of it. Too.
Yeah, at the most recent game I went to, they were not calling it out like in the stadium. It's only for television broadcasts.
Yeah.
Which I mean, thank God, because
if they were doing it in the stadium,
that'd be fucking weird.
Yeah.
Right? That's weird as shit.
It's different if it's like fighting, like in MMA, like in C, where stuff like that.
Yeah.
But or like horse racing, but like not in a pro hockey standpoint. I don't think we're gonna get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in horse racing, like, usually if you're watching it, you're there because you're betting on it,
yeah.
Or someone is betting on it, and that's what got you out there.
Right.
So it's just one of those where it's a different... Yeah, I'll have to definitely listen for it, because I'm intrigued now to see if I've just, like, been oblivious to it or not. Probably I'll be back next week, I'll be like, you fucking ruined it for me. Now I can't ever listen to anything on TV again.
Speaking of TV, the NHL Network announced about 10 o'clock this morning that they will have exclusive United States coverage for the World Juniors Championship.
Yeah.
That starts I believe also they're going to be on site for the Winter Classic, which we will talk in depth about next week.
That is always so hard for me because I gotta be honest, NHL streams are painful to watch. The NHL Network streams have been consistently fucking terrible. And I hope it's improving. Like, it's one of those things where they're finding their sweet spot, maybe.
Right.
But, like, dear God, I'll easily watch an ESPN stream any day over NHL. And then, of course, obviously, I'll watch my local broadcast station.
Right, yeah.
But, like, the NHL graphics, I hate.
Where is the World Juniors? Is it? I don't know. In Nova Scotia, right?
Sure.
I have no idea, honestly.
It is. That's right. It's in Halifax. That's right. Yeah, no, I'm happy that NHL Network is not going to have the Winter Classic this year.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled with that. But yeah, no, that is a topic for next week. Absolutely.
Right.
It'll
be exciting.
I do want to dive into what we briefly spoke about at the beginning of the show. NHL.com's 3 stars of the week. Couple new faces, one familiar face. Third star.
One very familiar face.
Yeah. Third star this week is this is cool because all 3 stars are we got a left winger, a center, and a right winger.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't notice that.
Right winger plays for the Minnesota Wild. Your third star was Mats Zuccarello. Shout out to Zuccarello. 4 games, he had 5 goals and 3 assists.
Now, the shit that I've seen for a couple of years now.
He's been doing this ever since he was with the Rangers.
Zook is a solid player. Watching the game where he got it, it was his first hat trick as a Wild player, and his first one in 7 years. I think 2015 was his last one.
I think so.
When he still played for the Rangers. And it was really cute because he had the 3 goals and an assist, and then Kirill had 1 goal and 3 assists.
Yeah.
Oh,
because they call them peanut butter and jelly and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
and he's got a 10-game point streak.
I want a peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah,
that sounds so fucking good.
10-game point streak. He's got 38 points on the season.
Yeah. He's tied. He's tied for points on the Wild with Kirill.
He's having a good season so far. When Zuccarello's on, that's when
That's for sure. He's
also very cute.
I think got married and had a baby this summer.
Congratulations.
I didn't hear of him being married prior to that, but their baby, she's 3 or 4 months old now. Her name's Matilda. She just wears a little jersey that says "Daddy" with his number on it.
I love that.
I think Kirill spends more time making faces at her than Zook does.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah, because I saw something on Instagram that was Uncle Krill. Uncle Krill, and it was him with the baby. I was like, that's adorable.
Every night, if he's not over, because he goes over at least once a week for dinner.
What is he Ovi and Backstrom?
Yeah, basically.
I love that.
He'll FaceTime with Matilda and read her a story or sing her songs and stuff. So.
That's adorable.
Cutest bromance on the team.
That is adorable. I love that.
Now. But Zook, he just fucking a fire got lit under his butt. But it was really fun to see. I wish I had been at the game, but I was at least watching it here with Matt.
There you go.
So excited, I should say, to see where the rest of the season goes with him. Hopefully, it continues this way.
Oh, I'll tell you who we have. The familiar face. Our second star of the week is Buffalo Sabres center Tage Thompson. In 3 games, Tage had 4 goals and 4 assists. I'm gonna say it. The kid's hot right now. He's on a roll. 2 of those goals were game winners, which is that's going to be super important. He's at 32 points on the season. I believe that was, and those 3 goals span, the Sabres didn't lose, and they were cranking goals out.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't think he should be number 2. I think he should be number 3. He's maintaining a consistency, but nothing like the fire that was burning the week before, if you ask me. And so I think 2 is just a little high for Tage.
That's fair. It's fair. I think it's because he's so hot. The past couple weeks, that's why he's number 2.
Right. I hope it just is something that he can kind of steadily back out of, and it's not like this drastic drop where it's like, oh, kid had it and then he lost it already. Yeah. It's like, I hate when people say that kind of shit.
And I hope he's able to keep this up for Buffalo's sake. I mean, they're on the cusp halfway through the season of being a playoff team. Like, they're playing really good hockey right now.
Right.
I mean, for my sake, I hope that Buffalo doesn't keep it up, but that's because I'm selfish.
Well, speaking of your team, D, the number one first star of the week, rated by NHL.com, is Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
I mean, he
finally hit that 800 mark, which is what got him first star, because
3
that's
goals,
an incredible...
2 assists in 3 games, 5 points in 2 games for someone at his age is impressive still, regardless.
Dude, to hear that he didn't score last night, though, because Gordie Howe's sons were both in the arena last night. So.
I know. Everyone was, because Mark and Marty were there, everyone was really, really hoping that he was going to tie Howe last night. And it, he got a couple of good looks. He hit post twice, unfortunately. So that's like heartbreaking. You know what I mean? Hearing that sound on a night that's that special. He did still, after the game, give them both autographed sticks. Because
they'll be around,
actually cares about them.
Well, that's the
Absolutely.
cool thing.
They've traveled to go to a couple of his games before, both of them separately. This is the first game this season that they were at jointly. But one or the other met him at different games throughout the season. And it's really cool, and they want to be a part of it. They had an interview with Joe Bettinati and Craig McLaughlin where they were talking about how their dad would be so happy to see someone overtaking it, because that's what records are made for. They're made for someone to push the envelope and go further, and they hope he doesn't stop with Howe's. Like, they think he's going to break Gretzky's record, and they really hope that he does, and that's 30 years down the line someone else breaks Ovechkin's.
So
because that's what furthers the sport.
Well, that's what's cool about seeing this and watching what happened in Major League Baseball this year already with Aaron Judge breaking a 61-year record. Like, Roger Maris's family was at every game. When Judge hit 60, they were at every game.
Well,
which was,
and Gretzky has already said that he's called up our owner and been like, when he gets close, when he's 10 away, I'm going to every.
He's going to want to go to every game. Well, that's just the guy that Wayne Gretzky is. Yeah, that's just.
I think it's
Gretzky
incredible,
is.
And there's been a couple of other people too that have been like, "Oh, I'm traveling with the team as well." Like Alex Simmons said that he was going to do that because obviously him and Ovechkin had a pretty close relationship when they were both playing in Washington, and so there's several other players that are like, "Oh, fuck yeah, we're going to be at every game we possibly can."
Could you
when
imagine,
he gets close to the great one?
Could you imagine a Spit and Chicklets live podcast? Biz is going to want to be there.
It's going to be insane. Like I'm so excited to be able to watch him move through these. I mean, the fact that he got his 800th goal on a night where he also got a hat trick too, because I think that's why he's first star. Not only did he get 800, but it came on a night where he got a hat trick against a decent team. Like, it's not like they fucking sucked ass, and you know what I mean.
Didn't they play the Blackhawks?
They did.
The Blackhawks are below Anaheim now.
Yeah.
They're the worst team in the NHL.
Yes.
No fucking way.
Yes, they are 32nd in the league.
They're not good.
Okay. So
not
maybe
to
I don't know why.
Your...
But I thought that.
Nah, dude, Chicago sucks. This year.
Chicago sucks this year.
But no,
wow,
but still,
that sucks if they're below you. No offense.
We're bad. But
You're
no,
bad
all the power to OV, man. He's on fire right now, and at 37 to continue to produce with numbers that he's been producing with the past few years, it's.
And he's also he's had not a ton of assists this year, but he's had a fair amount of assists this year as well.
Yeah.
Even though he is chasing Gretzky for sure, that's not stopping him from trying to set his team up for the win.
Yeah.
In whatever way that comes through. If that's passing to Kuzi or whatever to get him the game-winning goal. I mean, he got I think he was part of the reason why Gustafsson got his hat trick the other night, and he was the first one to be trying to get the fans to throw their hats into the ring for him and stuff. So he is still being a team player while chasing his record.
16 assists. I mean, 20 goals, 16 assists. Right now he's sitting on 36 points with a plus-minus of -7. That's rough. But I mean, I mean, you can't help when you're on the ice when the other team scores sometimes.
Right.
There's just been some rough moments, especially at the start of the season. I think that if we go week by week, it's gotten better in terms of when he's been on the ice that the other team has scored. But our
Actually,
injuries
yes.
definitely this year have been rough.
Yeah, actually, yes, it had like week by week from what I'm looking at, it definitely is. It's gotten better.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, he's 37 and 36 points into this point of the season. Like, I mean, is he doing what he was doing like 10 years ago? No, but he's still 36 points. That's impressive.
Yeah.
20-goal scorer.
But I mean, even then, though, he is still like I looked at a chart earlier today that broke down the number of games between like 100 and 200, 203, etc. And it's still like 168 goals, the most, or 168 games between those goal numbers. The most was like 200 something.
Right.
Between like 500 and 600 was a really big hurdle for him. So like even though he's not putting up like 90 points a season currently, like he's still producing.
He's
I mean,
still
that's still
playing really
more
well.
goals than a lot of other people in the organization are doing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it's incredible, especially because what he drinks on the fucking bench is Coke. Like that's what's in his water bottle.
Not surprising.
He's insane.
That's super funny.
Like,
well, that's like what you sent me earlier, D.
what I said, Chris, earlier.
When
was Phil Kessel evidently has like a bowl of cheese before games that he puts on like everything, but it's like an entire bowl of cheese. And then the entire game, he's like, "Oh, I feel like fucking shit. Like, oh man, I'm miserable." And his teammates are like, "But you have like 3 fucking goals and an assist. Like, shut the fuck up."
He just goes off.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Oh man, I should maybe." But then he won't stop doing it because the man loves cheese. And honestly, fucking same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
I've never been able to identify more with Kessel.
When
Right?
when you sent me that,
Super
I'm sitting there.
humanizing.
The only thing I thought of, I'm like, dude, I love fucking Phil Kessel. Like, it's so
Right?
obnoxious, but I'm here for it.
Right?
Yeah,
It's just
so funny.
I just picture him like with the little kid snack containers, but like an adult-sized version of it, with
Just-
like the full
Of just
thing,
like
so like
shredded
nothing gets
cheddar
spilled.
cheese.
And he just walks around the arena before
Just
doing
string,
it.
Yeah.
just string cheese.
Just straight
I'm
in the
sure he is
workout
just
room,
palming
just
that shit in his
fucking
face.
down
Yeah.
What a legend.
Down in fucking cheddar cheese. Like, again, I aspire to
funny.
that.
Same.
right?
Same.
So this week, not nearly as exciting as last week with all of the fines and suspensions that we suspensions last week, I should say.
Right.
We just have 2 new naughty boys to cross the list. The 18th, which was Sunday? Yes.
Yes.
Austin Watson actually just got fined, it looks like, for interference against Dylan Larkin. I was looking at this earlier, and I am intrigued. I need to pull the clip up because I didn't see that game.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
And
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to know what he did that would get him fined for. It wasn't even like a full, like in even numbers, $4,054.
That's
Yep.
that's obscure.
Very interesting.
It's very
and
strange.
then Thomas Hurdle got suspended for 2 games after high sticking Elias Lindholm.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was
the
pretty.
amount-
It was a pretty rough. I did end up catching that.
I
Yeah.
did
It's
see
pretty
that
rough.
clip. That was an oof moment.
Yeah.
But $87,972 is what he will miss out on from his salary for those 2
Yeah,
games.
that's rough.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you caught this one, Danger, but Dallas Stars player Mason Marchment got fined $2,000 for embellishment.
For
I
his second
saw that.
citation.
Yeah, that's not on this list though, but I do remember seeing
was-
that, or if you put,
Yeah,
I don't know,
it
somebody
popped up-
posted
It was super late, is
Yeah,
what it was.
'cause
Because
it
it happened on
popped
the
up-
8th, but they
yeah.
assessed it on the 16th.
Yeah, and then it didn't pop up for me until like yesterday or the day before for
Yeah.
for like through like social media, and then like on the NHL app I got the notification for it. So yeah, they took a good
Yeah.
week
Yeah, to figure it out.
to like
So
assess that.
that's another one I'm intrigued to see.
I can't remember. I think they were playing.
It's his second
Pittsburgh?
time, so
But yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why.
I think they were playing Pittsburgh or St. Louis, one of the two. I'll have to go back and check.
I can tell you though that Marchman's first citation for diving/embellishment was actually November 26, 2022.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's gotten
Which is
nabbed
interesting.
twice this year.
Yeah.
Which I believe the third time you get a fine for embellishment. Could be wrong, but I believe that comes with a 1-game suspension.
I think it comes with a suspension.
I believe
yeah.
it's a 1 or 2 game suspension.
It's a 3 strikes kind of a situation.
But the Tomasz hurdle, that was, yeah, he should have been suspended. That was, I mean, was it intentional? Nah, but like it was pretty rough.
It's still not great. Yeah. Yeah, it was not good. So interesting. Only a few naughty boys this week, which I mean, that's great. We hate to see a lot of suspensions during the season anyway, because it is so detrimental to your team. I mean, especially when you're talking about like some of the names this year that have been on the list. We got Matthew Tkachuk, Yevgeny Kuznetsov, Nicholas Aube-Kubel, Jeff Skinner, Jamie Alexiak. Like those are all names that are contributors to their team for sure. And so having them sit out, 3 games at a time, 1 to 3 games it sucks. It hurts the team for sure. Yeah, that's a lot.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then to kind of lead off into injuries, I did want to just touch up, Andrew Hammond announced his retirement yesterday. Coming off of that ankle injury that he had. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. As Chris reminded us earlier, he is an old guy.
Yep.
Meaning he's 2 years younger than me. No, just kidding. 34, especially for a goalie. I mean, goalies typically don't have the longest career lifespans, but
unless your name is Henrik Lundqvist.
And you're just a fucking beast. Yeah.
So, hopefully he's able to, at least be active in the rest of his life because he's still got a lot of life to live.
Oh, yeah.
Danger's only a little bit salty today. It's fine.
Welcome to the Salties platoon. How tough are you?
It doesn't still feel like crap, so I apologize if nothing I says makes sense.
No, bring the snark. Usually that's my role, but I have to be nice. You know what I mean? So
she already made.
I already claimed the
effort,
position of the nice one today. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good then. If I just train till I can't anymore. Starting with injuries, at the beginning, like we always do with Anaheim, new ones. This week, John Gibson was absent from previous 2 games. The undefined ailment, and they're saying he was not going to suit up against the Kings today.
As far as I'm aware, he is in the lineup.
He is?
He is.
As far as I'm aware.
CBC, you make me look like a fucking liar.
I think it was game time, but I will...
It might have been a game time decision,
but normally it doesn't even say... Yeah, this says out Tuesday. He will not suit up versus the Kings.
Huh. Let me double check, because we're actually about to start.
Okay.
Game center. I believe he's in the lineup.
And then the last time we recorded was the 13th, so anything after that will be good.
I will let you know when the game starts.
Out? That sucks.
Yeah, well, not like it matters.
Yeah. Okay, so Gibson will find out if CBC is a big liar or not shortly. But stay tuned for the developments in that ongoing news story. Max Jones, their left winger, is out indefinitely with an upper body injury. Unknown when he will be back. Doesn't sound like that was as of today.
No, I think he's done for this season.
Yeah. It just was updated today. And then Anthony Stolarz has now been assigned to the IR with a lower body ailment. No exact return date as of yet.
Rough.
For Arizona, only one new one is Liam O'Brien. Upper body injury, you'll miss an undetermined length of time.
Ew, no, I don't want to watch the Kings broadcast. Oh, I'm sorry. That was supposed to stay in my head.
Hey, man, we all have those days.
Sorry,
that's why I shouldn't be in people's streams.
Right.
That's why I should only be in their chats.
I don't know what you're talking
about. I'm well behaved always.
Boston, no new ones. Buffalo, we have Jacob Bryson out indefinitely with a lower body injury. He is on the IR. And then Owen Power is questionable for Friday's game. Right? That's a great name.
Yeah.
Sat out previous last 3 games due to this lower body injury, so just not sure we'll be back officially. For Calgary, we have Dennis Gilbert, who got added to the IR list with an unknown ailment. Unannounced length of time that he will be out. Chris Tanev has been activated from the IR list after recovering from a head injury and determined if he will return versus the Sharks.
Oh, that's right. Tanev's the one that got hit with the puck, right?
The puck, and just dropped.
Oof, that was bad. Yeah.
Did they say what happened or what?
No, just head
So it's
injury.
just head injury?
So I never. I should have looked this week to see if they'd updated it throughout, but
I didn't see anything.
so yeah, we'll have to see if he does end up playing today or not. And then Radim Zahorna.
Yeah.
Missed last game with an illness. Not sure too if he was going to be able to play tonight against the Sharks. For Carolina, we have Sebastian Aho, undetermined length of time and lower body issue.
So both Ahos are out right now, or is it
Yeah.
just the one? Okay, it's just the one.
Wow.
Never mind.
No, I think
gonna
the
say,
other
that'd
one
be
is
crazy.
still out too.
It's the known Sebastian Aho this time.
Okay.
The good
So
one.
confusing. They should absolutely make one of them change their name.
Yeah, you
Like
should
one of
be
them has
first.
to go by Seb or something. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like,
Yeah,
let's
something.
make this easy on us.
Or just change the last name. Make him Sebastian Oha.
Oha, yeah, right.
Oha and Aho.
Would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frederick Anderson. I know we talked
the
about
goalie.
last week. Not expected to be back until beginning of January. Is listed onto the IR now.
Mm-hmm.
Andre
Kasha.
Kasha, thank you. Is on the IR with a concussion. Will not return until early January. I think he was on the IR before too, so maybe he could be back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's another like second.
It was a
injury.
brutal concussion.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
did see that he practiced on Friday with a non-contact jersey, but
Okay,
Oh,
I
good.
think
That's
it's
a
probably
great
going to be
first
another
step.
week or two out
Yeah.
before we, see him again.
very good.
Yeah.
For Chicago, we have some updates. Tyler Johnson was held out of the previous 2 games with an ankle injury. Not sure if they will suit him up tomorrow night, which is Wednesday, against the Predators. Alex Stalock has been activated from the IR list after recovering from his concussion. May or may not play tomorrow against the Predators, which is awesome. And then Jared Tenorti is on the IR after having surgery to repair a facial fracture.
Rough.
Did he get clocked in the face?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
He must.
Yeah.
I mean,
I see on the Chicago Sun's Times, they reported that he had surgery on his face to wire it together and will be out for a while.
Wowza.
Jesus.
Yeah. That sounds painful.
Definitely sounds painful. For Colorado, we have Bowen Byram, who was moved to IR with that lower body injury, projected now to miss another 6 weeks. I don't remember what it was listed as before. But he is expected back early January. Andrew Cogliano?
Cogliano.
Yep, these are words that cannot come out of my mouth in the proper order. Thanks, cold medicine. Yep. He is out with a shoulder ailment, no timetable right now for his return. Darren Helm is now on the long-term IR after undergoing that abductor surgery. I know we've talked about him before, but that at least is updated. And
okay, so what happened with Tenorti was he took a puck to the face, leaving a trail of blood, and it came less than 2 weeks after he took a laceration under his chin from a skate blade.
Ooh.
So things have not gone well for Tenorti.
No.
Yeah, that's
Tenorti needs to stay
like
higher up on the ice.
Yeah.
And avoid skates and pucks.
Oh,
But keep trying to do your job.
I just watched it.
Yeah.
Wow, that was brutal.
If it's the one I'm remembering, it's nasty.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's spitting. He's spitting out teeth, and wow, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
I didn't realize that it fractured his face, but I'm not surprised that it fractured his face.
Pucks fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Especially when they're like a slap shot at 80 miles
Dude.
an hour.
Yeah, just take one right to the jaw.
Right?
Count me the fuck out.
So now going on to Columbus, we have Adam Bovequist. He has a fractured foot, projected to be sidelined for 6 weeks. Igor Chignikov?
Chinakhov.
Yeah, Chinakhov.
It is just Chinakhov? Okay. He is also on IR with an ankle injury. Not sure when he will be skating again. Boone Jenner, which is an also awesome name, is on IR after undergoing surgery to repair a fractured thumb. Will be out miss 4 weeks. Jonas Corpusalo is also on IR with lower body injury, expected to miss at least 1 week. Early January, that's 1 week.
They have a lot of people on the IR. Or they have just a lot of people.
Yeah, Columbus has been hurting.
Elvis Merzlikins. That's a hell of a name. That's
a great name. Elvis Merzlikins.
He missed the last game with an illness. Unclear if he'll play Friday against the Deadhawks.
Do they still have that flu going around? Is like everyone else's team being affected by it?
Yeah, like fucking.
Yeah. That really ripped through the NHL last week for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I hold true that it could still be syphilis.
Still be syphilis. That is correct.
Slinger missed 2 games with an unspecified. Not sure if he'll dress again against the Blackhawks. On Friday, new ones for Dallas. Nick Camano.
Yeah, I think he's the only one, but I literally think the only person.
He just shifted to IR list after his back surgery, so nobody knew. Oh, that's a lie. Detroit, one new injury. We have Robert Haig, who I think we talked about, but it was the day it happened. So the 13th, it's still listed as an undefined injury, but he'll miss an extended period.
And for Detroit, Jacob Vrana is back from the player assistance program.
Oh yes,
he is back on the ice with his team. I think he is in a contact jersey. He says he's feeling great, and that he's grateful for the NHL's help through that program, and that he's still going to keep it private why he needed it, which I think is absolutely fair and should be respected. But he has said that he's looking forward to getting back on the team back on the ice whenever the team feels comfortable doing so. So congrats to Jacob for dealing with what you needed to deal with and being able to come back.
Can't wait to see
him back.
to see it. Also,
can't wait to see him fully back.
I want to update that neither Anthony Stolarz, obviously, or John Gibson are suiting up tonight.
Hey, CBC.
We have Dostal or Dostal, whoever he is. He's not great, but he's in net.
Hey, well, and both of your starting goalies are out.
Yeah, it's not.
You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
Right.
Well, you can throw a fit. It's just not going to be warranted.
But it's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
For the Oilers, we have Philip Broberg, who is out with an ankle issue, expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks.
That's a great last name, Broberg.
And then Ryan Murray is out. He is expected to miss a month with a back injury. No other details on that as of right now. For Florida, we have Alexander Barkov. Sat out the last game with a lower body injury. Not sure if he will play tomorrow night or Wednesday against the Devils.
He's had struggles this year with injuries so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is bummer.
That's not helpful for Florida.
No. Radko Gudas is still listed as out indefinitely. He is on concussion. It is protocol still. So team officials have yet to say when he'll be back for sure. Anton Lundell is with an illness. Not likely to return at least until the beginning of January.
That sucks.
Yeah.
And then Chris Tierney is out indefinitely with concussion protocol as well. I don't remember if we mentioned him last time. The Kings, I mean, hey, no new ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
What was that?
Yeah, we're probably going to lose anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. Update on Brandon Duhaime. He got moved officially to the IR with an upper body injury. Not coming back until at least the beginning of January, which does stink. But boy, oh boy, does it feel good to have Ryan Hartman back on the ice. He missed a long time with the shoulder issues, so he came back.
Absolutely.
It's been very nice to see him back. For Montreal, we have Brendan Gallagher. Is on IR with a lower body injury, expected to miss at least 2 weeks.
I did see that he skated before practice on Saturday, so that's very positive.
That's a good sign.
Very positive.
Right. Emil Heineman, upper body injury. He is also not expected to come back until the beginning of January. Mike Matheson has a lower body injury, not known when he will be back in action. Sean Monahan is on IR with a lower body injury, likely as well to miss 2 to 3 weeks of action, so early January for him, as well as David Savard with an upper body injury.
Okay.
They've got a lot of new ones.
They got a lot of new ones, yeah.
Nashville, I think last week we mentioned Michael McCarron, who entered the player assistant program, and then Ryan McDonough, on the IR with an upper body issue, but projected to suit up today against the Blackhawks. So we'll see.
We'll see.
I don't know if he played or is going to play. For New Jersey, we have Nathan Bastian is out until the beginning of January with an upper body injury, and that's all for new ones. And then
for Jersey,
yeah, at least updates.
Yeah,
because it still says the officials are saying he's a ways away from coming back, so it'd probably be mid January.
Yeah.
Well, right now, I'm just going off of what it's listed here.
It's so funny how different everything is for different sites,
right?
You know.
Yeah.
So for New York, we have Cal Clutterbuck. We miss here in Minnesota. He was a good guy.
Great name.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing name.
It's also a great name.
He missed previous 2 games with an upper body injury. Not sure if he will play Thursday when they fight the Rangers. Kyle Palmieri missed 2 games with an upper body injury. Also not known if he will play Thursday against the Rangers. Semyon Varlamov.
Yes.
Semyon Varlamov. I can't say it anyway. Semyon was absent, but is now as well questionable for Thursday's game against the Rangers. And then Adam Pilic, however you say his name, is been shifted to IR with an upper body injury, remaining out until the beginning of January. So I was trying to loop 3 of the 4 together because they're all questionable back for Thursday. It didn't work well. The Rangers have no new injuries or no injuries reported at all right now.
Great.
Good for them.
For them.
Right? Take it.
Wish it could be me, but no.
Right?
Not that fucking special.
For Ottawa, we have Jacob Bernard Doctor. He will spend at least a month, they're saying, on IR. He has a high ankle sprain. So he's expected back early January. Matthew Joseph is on IR with a lower body injury, expected to miss a minimum of 2 weeks of action. Also expect back early January. Josh Norris, late January, he has got a shoulder injury. Tim Schultze is on IR with a shoulder strain.
Yeah.
And then we've talked about Artem Zub.
That's still tough for the Senators to not have Tim Stützle. Like, that's really important for them. He's a very big contributor. So.
Right.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be back soon.
For Philadelphia, Cam Atkinson is now out for the season.
Yeah, this one was just announced.
He had neck surgery yesterday. Yeah. Sean Coutier is expected to be sidelined for 3 to 4 months after having a back surgery revision. So he is now on IR. I don't know if that means he came back and played, or if that's just. It sounds like to me it's a second surgery and he hasn't been back.
I feel like he played maybe. Surgery. Yeah, I feel like either he played a game or 2 and then got hurt again, or
it was earlier in the season. Yeah. And he's been on it for a while, and I guess they finally decided that they just have to redo his surgery, which sucks. That's tough. That recovery is tough.
Right. And then we have Max Willman, who was held out of the last 3 games due to an upper body injury. they play the Maple Leafs Thursday night. Not sure if he'll play against them as of yet, but
right.
To see. With 3 centers out, 2 of which are on IR. Let's hope that Max will be back in action.
Yeah.
For Pittsburgh, we have Josh Archibald, Archie Comics. Missed last game with lower body injury. Not known if he will play Thursday against the Hurricanes. And Jeff Petrie, or Petrie, however you say it, we talked about him, I think, last week, but he is on long-term IR with an upper body injury. For San Jose, we have Mario Ferrero.
Yeah, I was going to say Ferrero.
IR list with an unknown injury, but is expected to return today against the Flames. And then Luke Kunin is on IR after having ACL surgery and will be out for the rest of the season.
Every time I hear his name, I just think of that scene in Deadpool when he just looks over and goes, "How's the Kunin coming along?" They're building the IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
Seattle has no new injuries either.
For them.
For St. Louis, we have Logan Brown. Got pulled off of IR, so he's been activated.
Nice.
Get an upper body injury, but not sure if he will return Tuesday against the Kraken. Jordan Cairo is dealing with an upper body ailment and unknown if he will face Seattle on Tuesday. And then we've talked about Scandella and Perunovic before. No updates there. Update on Rudolph Balsier, or Balsers, it depends.
Balsers.
I think it's Balsers.
I hope it's Balsers.
But with a name like Rudolph,
yeah,
I'm pretending like it's got a fresh accent on it. But he is on the IR with that upper body injury that we talked about before. Not likely to be activated until beginning of January. So that's a little bit of an update.
That's the update. Yeah.
For Toronto, they're having a rough go at things.
They got a couple.
We have Jordy Ben, who is now activated from the IR, recovering after he's recovered from the upper body injury. Not known if he'll come back Thursday against the Flyers or not, but he at least is on the upswing.
Yeah, good to see.
Victor Met is on IR with a lower body injury, not expected to return until the beginning of January. And then Rasmus Sandin. So I'm going to be like, Sandin, what you standing in? Okay. Rasmus left the game with a neck injury. Unknown if he will play Thursday against the Flyers. So hopefully nothing serious there. It doesn't sound like it's too serious if they're
right.
I'm not saying it's worse. For Vancouver, we have Tanner Pearson. Is on IR after undergoing hand surgery, projected to miss 4 to 6 weeks, so early to mid-January there. And then Elias Pettersson sat out the last 2 games with an illness, so it's just unknown still if he'll be able to play against the Kraken Thursday. For Vegas, Paul Cotter is questionable for tomorrow or Wednesday's game. Against the Coyotes. He is not dressed for the last 2 games due to an upper body injury.
Yeah.
Jack Eichel is on IR with a lower body injury, expecting him to return the beginning of January. Brett Howden landed long-term IR list with a lower body injury, expected to return at least the beginning. Sorry, not expected to return until at least the beginning of January. And that is,
brings us to
Shea
19,
Theodore is out indefinitely with a leg injury, but considered week to week moving forward. So that at least is good, maybe.
Kind of an update, yeah.
Yeah, it's an update without actually having anything new to say about it. That's awesome. Right. For the Caps, TJ Oshie missed the last game with an upper body injury or ailment. Not knowing if he'll face the Senators on Thursday.
Probably not. He, honestly, it wasn't like an injury that happened in the game. We think that he aggravated a pre-existing injury.
Okay.
That is sort of rearing its head again. So we were very sad to see him leave the ice because since he's been back, we've been on a fucking tear. We've only lost a couple of games since he's been back because he just brings such a fun atmosphere to the team. He really gets everyone to rally, and sometimes that's what you need. And so we're missing TJ big time.
It still freaks me out that he's 35 and has not aged Like,
dude,
he
still looks 16. It's insane.
He does. He literally looks 16. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Big love to TJ.
Goodish news, right? Is an update for Tom Wilson.
Tom has been skating.
Yeah, he's been skating. He's
I'm surprised they didn't also update Backstrom when they did this, because Backstrom has actually been seen in a contact jersey.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that this didn't update that. Wilson is still in a non-contact jersey, but he is progressing quickly, and so he is definitely still. Like early January is probably more likely now. We were hoping to have him back by this time, but I think because of the roster freeze, we're not going to expect to see him before January.
Right. But yeah, so both of those are good things. And then lastly with Winnipeg, Connor Hellebuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a super fun-ass last name, man.
Which is a bummer that he's out.
Yeah, dealing with an illness. Not sure if he will play Thursday against the Bruins.
Still could be syphilis.
It could be syphilis.
Could be syphilis.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Hellebuck is a hell of a fuck. Sorry. Should not have said that.
I'm out. That's my last show with the podcast, guys. Thanks so much for listening.
Next week, D has been fired from Pucked Up Podcast.
D's been replaced with Seth Rogen.
And then we sacked the moose that sacked D.
Yeah, just do the whole Monty Python bit. Everyone's been sacked.
For the entire show, it's just the Monty Python bit, but we have to repeat it in our voices. Sorry for that tangent. That was just too funny.
That was spectacular.
Nate Schmidt is expected back late January, shifted to IR list with a concussion. So, and then Logan Stanley, we talked about before, but Blake Wheeler is now on IR after undergoing surgery to correct a groin injury.
Yowza.
Probably from the hell of a fuck. Expected to miss at least a month.
So now Danger's been sacked too. Got it.
Yeah. I just had, if you go, I go.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
exactly.
And we've sacked the person that replaced Danger. The person that sacked Danger has now also been sacked.
Yeah, I would hope that HR has my back in that way.
Well, you would hope that.
It's not nepotism. We were a couple before he became the head of HR. That's all I have for injuries, suspensions, and fines for today.
Nice.
And by today, I mean this week.
Yeah. Well, that means I think it's time for us to get into some standings, which we haven't really touched on in quite a while. So,
because
Chris, I think
nothing has changed so far.
Nothing.
One thing changed. Anaheim's now at the bottom.
That's about all that's really changed. Boston is the class of the league. It's not even
5 wins, which is surprising because they don't have a very long win streak. They've only won, I think, 2 games in a row, whereas Carolina was on a 5-game streak and Tampa Bay also on a 5-game streak.
Yeah, Carolina's on a 6-game streak. They just won again. Your top 5 teams in the league are the Boston Bruins, Carolina Hurricanes, Toronto Maple Leafs, Vegas Golden Knights, and New Jersey Devils. Your bottom 5 in the league, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Anaheim Ducks, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Arizona Coyotes, and the San Jose Sharks. When you look at the wild card standings, your 2 teams in the wild card spot for the Eastern Conference are the Islanders and the Rangers, with the Sabres and the Capitals not that far behind.
We might see some changes here, hopefully. I mean, obviously, we're praying that we can capture that wild card slot for sure.
And then your wild card in the Western Conference right now, your 2 leaders are the Colorado Avalanche and the Edmonton Oilers, with Calgary being right behind. I want to show some love real quick to the Seattle Kraken, who were 3rd in the Pacific. And
they're fucking killing it.
They're looking pretty good right now. Yeah, I mean, not a lot's changed right now. I think we're at a lull period because a lot of teams are still trying to get some recovery for injuries. But Yeah.
It was a rough month for injuries for sure.
It was.
So there are a few games happening tonight as we record this. I think it's St. Louis versus Seattle, Anaheim versus the Kings, and Calgary versus San Jose. So that should be interesting.
Playing right now, yeah.
Like at this very moment. And then we also today had Columbus versus Philly. Philly took that. Pittsburgh got the win over the Rangers. Carolina got the win over New Jersey, which is actually a little bit of surprising. It was a 4-1 result, which is crazy with how hot New Jersey has been lately. That one surprises me a lot, actually. We shockingly had Toronto beating Tampa Bay, same 4-1. And then the Jets kicking Ottawa's ass, honestly, at 5-1.
5-1.
Yeah. So those were a couple of interesting games today, and there's still games happening right now. I'm curious to see the Seattle St. Louis game, how that one turns out. Currently, Seattle's winning.
Yeah. They're up 1-0 in the second period. So.
Yeah. So it's a close contest for sure. And there's some other interesting games happening around the league later this week. There's some games that are not interesting, but one that's interesting to two people here on this stream is Wednesday. Minnesota is playing Anaheim.
They are.
So that'll be fun. Yeah.
In Anaheim.
Yes.
In Anaheim.
Maybe I'll be able to watch this one and it won't be on the fucking NHL network.
Who knows? It could happen. So yeah, there's a lot going on right now, but we also are headed into the holiday break too. So there'll be a couple of days off for Christmas where all teams will get to go home and be with their families, which is obviously super important. And then we get into the Winter Classic and things like that. So that's definitely something we will cover when we get back from that.
Indeed, and we're getting really close to halfway through the season as well, so...
Right.
Yeah, which means then we're going to start talking about some more predictions at that point. When we get halfway through, we'll sort of bring that topic back a little bit. Speaking of topics and questions, I have a great one for us this week. Well, I think it's a great one, but I'm biased because I wrote it.
Are you telling me it's time for question of the week?
I'm telling you it's time for question of the week. I think this is something that has been on my mind, especially as we've talked in the past couple of episodes about trying to get more people into the league, and we even discussed it today because honestly, hockey is growing in terms of like the fan base is growing. But we all know people in our personal lives that don't give a shit about hockey. And so I was thinking, like, what game would you show someone if like they weren't interested in hockey, but you're trying to get them into the game? What one game, either from this season or from years past, would you show them to be like, this is why this sport is so cool?
I mean, obviously, being a Wild fan, like, Zook's hat trick game was awesome. I look back in the game where Gabrick scored 5 goals in a game. And I think that was the same game. There was, like, 5 fights. So it was like, are we in a boxing match or a fucking hockey game?
Yeah.
But, like, for Minnesota hockey, you know, those are two that come to mind. I mean, we had some great playoff runs and stuff, too. Trying to think about...
And it is hard because, like, not using Olympic games because the 2014 Olympics games, the Olympic U.S.-Russia, when Oshie had, like, eight shootout goals, the 2010 gold medal game where Crosby scored on his knees to win the gold for Canada in overtime. Like,
well, and there are so many, like, great moments in games, so it's almost like a highlight reel of certain clips is what I would rather, like, personally show people, because you know, I mean, not every game is going to be super exciting, but every game has something that you're like, holy shit, how did they do that, you know?
You know what game I just thought of? The first Winter Classic in 2008. Snowing, like, blizzard conditions.
Was that the
in
Pittsburgh?
Buffalo? In Pittsburgh and Buffalo, they ended in a shootout. It was literally, they were clearing off the ice every 5 minutes.
I remember that now. I didn't realize that was like the first.
That was the first Winter Classic because they weren't sure if it was going to ever be a thing, and now, obviously, all these years later, we're still doing it.
Well, yeah. I mean, 14 years later. But yeah, that's why I don't remember that, because Matt was born in 2008, so I was probably still pregnant with the first one, and the second one I was But I remember that scene, or what you're talking about.
That game was nuts because I watched it with my dad, and it was like the craziest thing.
Through a lot of it.
I think they got like a foot and a half of snow that day.
Yeah, it was insane. I
don't think my game will surprise anyone.
Ovi's 800th?
No.
Or I mean that's great. When they won the cup.
So Game 4 of the Stanley Cup in 2018, which is not the cup winning game. That was Game 5.
Yeah.
But Game 4, honestly, we won 6-2 over the Vegas Golden Knights. It was
they
a crazy.
They were hot that year too, weren't they?
They were, yeah. We were fucking on one. But it had some amazing goals from some of my favorites. Oshie opened, the scoring, followed up by Tom Wilson. So to have two of my faves open it up back to back, and then DSP, Devontae Smith-Pelly, getting a goal. That one I loved. I was so happy for DSP to get that goal, and prove that he had made a name for himself on the team.
He's a former Duck.
And then
my guy.
Yeah. John Carlson was the only goal scorer in the second. And then what was cool was that Vegas came back with goals by James Neal and Riley Smith. And it was one of those things, this is why I like this game for trying to get people interested, because you could tell that Vegas was trying to rally, and they were doing an incredible job. But we were just so fucking determined that we closed it out with a score by Michael Kempney and Brett Connolly. And so that's why I like the game, because there were fights. There was, you're getting demolished and then you fucking rally, but you can't quite make it because, sorry, you're not the underdog.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you kind of were, but you kind of weren't. There was a shit ton of penalties, including TJ Oshie and Ryan Reeves and Derek Englund getting 10-minute misconduct penalties at the very end of the third period. Again, so there was so much that happened this game. You had so many tripping calls. I think there was a total of 5 tripping calls, 2 slashes, 2 cross checks, 2 roughings, 3 misconducts. Everything was happening in this game.
Yeah.
And it was, honestly, it was amazing. We were all fucking pumped. It was at a game at home at Capital One Arena. We knew we were headed back to Vegas the next game, and it was potentially going to be the cup deciding game. And so the atmosphere, you could just feel it. Even watching it on TV, you could just feel how fucking pumped this crowd is. And so that's why I was like, this game is what I would show people. A, because it's my favorite team, and so I want to brag on them a bit.
Right.
B, it's a game that Ovechkin, he was one of the assists that got DSP his goal. Along him and Matt Niskanen got the assist tallies for that one. But you had Yevgeny Kuznetsov also tallying 4 assists that game. And so it was just like a teamwork game. Yeah. It was like a competitive spirit. It was awesome.
There's a lot of there's a lot of good games and a lot of good moments. Mario Lemieux's return from after his battle with cancer. He scored, I think, 2 goals in that game. Gretzky's monster performance in the first Stanley Cup series he had. There are so many great moments. The 94 Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals when Messier promised in the media that they were going to win that game and they almost blew it.
Yeah.
And they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. We
could go so many roads with this question too. Whose player's highlight reel would you show people to be like, this is why you should watch hockey? What clips, throughout not just one game, but throughout various games.
Throughout history,
be this is why it's... honestly, Zegras would make that list in terms of every fucking time he's done the Michigan. That's cool as shit, and I think that would get people interested because it's such an inventive way of scoring.
Just watching...
but I was really interested
Matthews,
in full games.
Those guys,
Which full games?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so that's
a
why I picked
hard
the one that I picked.
question.
It's a good question because it really does come down to what kind of fan you want to create. You're probably going to want to do a more modern game, and then once that person becomes a fan, then you can show them the historical games and be like, this is why I love this, and
this was the hockey that I grew up with, and then what it's turned into, and how my love has evolved through that transition and stuff.
Right.
Which is why we sit here today.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. So I love talking about old games, especially ones I could have picked games where Ovi has hit a milestone, and those are awesome. But again, my focus for trying to bring new people in is the team atmosphere. Hockey definitely, has some stigma around it because it can be very elitist. It's very expensive. It's a super expensive sport to play. But what we find, and Danger and I talk about this a lot, is that our teams like have such a cute like camaraderie. You know, I was talking earlier about TJ Oshie, how he just brings something to the team, and what he brings is like fun and love and like this weird, like a Labrador Retriever energy. And Chris, I know that you have some of those moments on your team as well.
Oh, it's just
and that
Zegras
to me
is
is
a
what
clown.
I love.
That's really what it is. It's just Zegras is a clown. Anytime he knows there's a chance of cameras on him, he's just a goofball.
Exactly.
But he's like 20.
But like that's what I love about the sport, because yes, we see that in football, but not nearly as much. No. Because it wasn't like football, I think, was advertised for so long as like this serious sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with like baseball. It's advertised as, it's America's pastime, but like you don't see them being silly goofy boys as much. And now like in hockey, we're definitely seeing the silly goofy boy era. People like Kirill Kaprizov, who, I mean, he showed up to a game in an elf costume looking just cute as shit. You know, I'd trust that man at the mall. Absolutely. He looks like he'd be such a good time.
2 weeks ago, the Ducks had two players like escorted to the locker room from the loading bay by stormtroopers. It was Trevor Zegras and I want to say Cam Fowler. They were like escorted through for Star Wars Day.
And
I was like,
Zegras got a lightsaber and was like, you could tell he had definitely played with one before.
Oh yeah, come on. You know,
that was so much fun. But that's the kind of stuff too that I would show people to get them interested in the sport, because it's not just the outcomes of the games, it's the story behind the game. You know what I mean?
If you guys are interested in having your question answered or be a part of Question of the Week, hit us up in the comment section, hit us up on social medias.
Absolutely.
Hit us up
in our Discord as well.
Yeah, in our Discord. Leave us a voice message through Anchor if you guys are into that. We'd love to have you guys as part of the show.
Well, I think that means that it is time for us to close out with our obscure player of the week, which is someone that is a cup champion. And Chris has all the facts on that, and we just us ladies get to sit back and enjoy from this point.
Indeed. So this week, our obscure NHL player of the week is Sean Shanahan.
I don't think that this is his nickname, but it should have been. He should have been Sean Shenanigan Shenanahan.
Shenanahan.
And if that wasn't something that happened, then I'm deeply disappointed.
Fun fact about Shanahan, he was not drafted in the NHL, but he was drafted in the WHA. Ninth round by the Houston Aeros. He played 4 games in the WHA, which is kind of funny. Which were literally the last season of his career was the final game that he the only time he ever played in the WHA. He has 40 games in the NHL, 1 goal, 3 assists, and 47 penalty minutes, which
Naughty boy.
Cranking out.
That's at least a penalty minute a game.
Yeah, when you have more penalty minutes than games played, that's impressive. But he did play 4 games and was a part of the 1976 Montreal Canadiens when they won the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, earlier this year, Shanahan did pass away at the age of 71. But he had a decent little career in the minors, which is, impressive, and did get to play with a cup-winning organization. So shout out to Sean Shanahan. That is your obscure NHL player of the week.
Well, there you go. Something I didn't know before, which is what we hope to do every week for you guys. Hopefully, I mean, we always try to bring topics that are current, but we also do like to talk history here too, because we've all been fans for a while now at various levels. That changes as we've aged and as life events have happened. And so it's always nice to hear about people who brought the sport to where it is. And truthfully, there's it's, that old saying in theater, like there are no small parts, only small actors. It's the same thing in the NHL. Like everyone serves a purpose and everyone contributes to the success.
It's funny because
so I love talking about this.
Well, it's funny because I mentioned to you guys before the recording, I was going to go with the player from 1973 Cup championship team, but everyone in that team is a fucking Hall of Famer. So because the Habs won like 30,000 fucking championships in the 70s, and like everyone in the team was there. It's like, this is not helpful. So
no, definitely not.
It's definitely
sometimes it can be tricky.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, this player played fucking 800 games. This player played 500 games. Like, you can't really. They're not obscure. Those guys had good careers. You know?
Absolutely.
I'm here for the grinders that had like 7 games, but like 25 penalty minutes.
Right. They came in, they knew what they were about, and they had a nice little career, and that's fine. They had their cup of coffee in the NHL, and we respect it.
That's
honestly.
more than a lot of people can say. So
I will never say that. Yes, that is true.
Same.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us again this week on the Pucked Up Podcast. Leave us a like wherever you are viewing this. If it's YouTube, if it's any of your favorite podcasting platforms, give us a follow or subscribe. We would love to engage with you all in the comments. So if you have questions of the week or just in general, maybe you disagree about one of our very accurate takes on this broadcast and you want to let us know about it. That's okay. We are glad and happy to respectfully tell you you're wrong.
Right.
Also, check out the merch store. Like, we have a bunch of fun stuff up there. The merch store is great. Check it out.
Yeah, 100%. And always look for the new stuff coming out there. Again, be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Be sure to join us in our Discord if you're interested in that, especially as we look to track Connor Bedard in our sports talk channel in our Discord as well.
The kid's a machine.
Other than that,
and hopefully everyone has a great Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever holiday you celebrate this month. I hope everyone has a great holiday, and we will actually be with you before the end of the year.
I was gonna say
there will be another episode, absolutely. So you're not rid of us yet. Don't worry. We will be back next week to talk all kinds of stuff. But anyway, we will see you Mother Puckers in the Jaw Circle next week.